Hello guys, welcome to 4K channel. Super excited to share with you this Palestine banknote. Now if you know about these banknotes, they're quite hard to find in decent condition and quite expensive. This one I picked up for a decent price on an eBay auction. I didn't expect to win, but lucky for me, I was the highest bidder. This is in a very fine condition. It does have a deep vertical fold, but all in all, it's in great condition for the price. No big chunk missing, no big holes. Now, this is a £1 note from 1939. This was when Palestine used to be part of British Mandate. So Palestine was part of Ottoman Empire until 1998, which was around the World War I time. And after the end of World War I, it was controlled by British Army and was under British Mandate. And in 1926, they established what's called the Palestine Currency Board. It was actually based in London, and they started issuing banknotes. So Palestine was way before, we had the state of Israel. So this banknote, like I said, £1 note, and I'm trying to zoom up. So it says Jerusalem, 20 April 1939, and on the bottom here it says Thomas de la Rue. That's who printed this note in London. And on the left-hand side, we have the Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. And on the back here, we have what's called the Tower of David, also a citadel in Jerusalem. Now, there is a watermark in the window right here. And it's a olive sprig. I don't have my light with me to show you the watermark. Now, so when Palestine was part of British Mandate, they started issuing banknotes, and the writing on the banknotes is in 3 languages: English, Hebrew, and Arabic. And when I was researching this banknote, I found out that if you can read the Hebrew language, it says Palestina, State of Israel, which is interesting that even back then they were hinting that Palestine was part of Israel. Obviously, State of Israel was not established until the end of British Mandate in 1948. That's when UN approved the plan to basically partition Palestine into, an Arabic and a Jewish state. That's around the time when Egypt, Jordan, Syria basically invaded, and Israel was able to beat them, and West Bank and Gaza Strip basically were what was left for the Arabs. And around that time, West Bank was controlled by Jordan, and Gaza Strip, which is on the west side, was controlled by Egypt. Eventually, even those areas were recaptured. And now Palestine is basically made up of a bigger section, which is on the east side, called the West Bank. And currently, majority of it, or at least half of it, is being administered by Israel, and the other half is under the PLO, or what's called the Palestine Authority. The Gaza Strip, which is on the west side, bordering the ocean there, just above Egypt, is under Hamas control. And its Gaza Strip is kind of cut off from the West Bank. The West Bank, I understand, has a better economy. Gaza Strip is a little bit more poor, a little bit more crazy. kind of cut off from rest of the world. Anyways, so this banknote is truly impressive. I've been wanting to own one, and I didn't think I could because of how expensive these banknotes usually are. But I'm super excited to share with you my latest grab. Now, just also want to show you this banknote. I got this banknote maybe a few months ago, and I was planning on making a video, but after I got the Palestine banknote, it just made sense to just make one video and include both of them. So this banknote was issued as the first series of banknote after State of Israel was established. Now, this banknote was printed even before they knew the name of the new nation. They didn't know it was going to be called Israel. They didn't know what was going to be their currency, but there was this Jewish agency in London which created this, what's called the Anglo-Palestine Bank. And they went to American Banknote Company and said, hey, we want to print banknotes. But obviously they didn't know the name of this new Jewish state. They didn't know which currency was going to be used. So they convinced American Banknote Company to print this banknote. And it's in the denomination of 1 Palestine Pound. They kept the pound, Palestine Pound, because it was going to make it easy to transition between the British mandate to whatever the next currency was going to be. Now, interesting story about this banknote is the fact that they wanted to keep this a secret. So they had to bypass the State Department, the U.S. State Department, because if you're printing banknotes for another country, it has to go through the State Department unless it's not a legal tender. So what they did was, when they printed this banknote, when the American Banknote Company printed this banknote, this term here, legal tender for payment of any amount, this little text was not printed on it. And the other thing was, there is no printer name here. So ABNM, American Banknote Company, didn't want to put their name on it, and since it was not considered a legal tender, it was okay. So these were printed, and in 1948, after British mandate ended, a law was passed to make these legal tenders, and the legal tender text was then printed afterwards, and these banknotes were put into circulation. So this is a banknote from State of Israel, and this is a banknote from Palestine before State of Israel existed. Okay guys, I hope I showed you some beautiful banknotes and maybe you learned something new, something interesting. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please leave me a like. And until then, keep collecting.